Good evening. Myself, Dr. Gauri Shankar Jha, Assistant Professor of Anatomy, DMCH. I am going to talk you about the pterygopalatine fossa. This pterygopalatine fossa is a pyramidal space situated just below the orbit. Now, this is the diagram. This shows the maxillary sinus. This is the maxilla, and this is the maxillary sinus. As we know that on the top of the maxillary sinus, we have got the orbit over here. So it is a pyramidal space situated just below the orbit. In this diagram, you can see this is the orbit, and the pterygopalatine fossa is right over here. And this see the pyramidal space of the pterygopalatine fossa. For any fossa, what we need is the boundary, and the boundary of the different fossa is different one. But here the boundary which is important for the pterygopalatine fossa is the anterior boundary. Second is the posterior boundary. Third is the medial boundary. Then fourth is the lateral boundary. Then superior or roof and the inferior boundary. With all these, we can complete the boundary of the pterygopalatine fossa. So now we come to the anterior boundary. Anterior, this is the anterior and this is posterior. This diagram, so this is the body of the maxilla, showing the maxillary sinus over here, and this bone is the sphenoid bone. With this portion is the pterygoid plate, that is the lateral pterygoid plate, which coming close to each other, and this bone is the pyramidal process of palatine bone. Pyramidal process of palatine bone. So anteriorly, this is the body of the maxilla, and if this is anterior and this is posterior, you can say that this is the posterior portion of the body of the maxilla, and this is the anterior portion of the body of the maxilla. So the anterior boundary of the pterygopalatine fossa is formed by the superior aspect of superior-medial part of the posterior part of the body of the maxilla. Superior-medial part of the body of the maxilla. Now we have got to talk about the posterior boundary. Now, as you know that posteriorly we have got this sphenoid bone. This is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. This portion and which goes upward, this is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. And this sort of thing, this from here up to here, this is the body of the sphenoid bone. So body of the sphenoid bone, the under surface of this is the under surface of the body. This is the under surface of the body of the sphenoid bone, and the greater wing of the sphenoid bone and the root of the lateral pterygoid plate. These together they forms the posterior boundary of pterygopalatine fossa. So posterior boundary is formed by pterygoid process. This is the pterygoid process. So the root of the pterygoid process, this is the root of pterygoid, from where the lateral pterygoid and medial pterygoid plate comes out. So the root of pterygoid process, number one. And next we have got the adjoining part of this is the greater wing of sphenoid bone. So adjoining part of the greater wing of the sphenoid bone, and adjoining part of greater wing of sphenoid bone. Adjoining part of greater wing of sphenoid bone. So this is the root of this is the root from where we are on the outside. We are seeing from the outside. This is the lateral pterygoid plate, and we have got the medial pterygoid plate also. So the lateral pterygoid plate and medial pterygoid plate both comes from the root. This is the root of the pterygoid plate, and above we have got the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. See in this diagram, this is the root, and this blue color, this yellow color is nothing but the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. This is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. So this one is the greater wing of sphenoid bone, and this is the pterygoid plate, and their junction, at this junction, this junction forms the posterior surface of posterior boundary of the pterygopalatine, posterior boundary of pterygopalatine fossa. Now the medial boundary. Medial boundary is formed by medially. Which bone is lying medially? As we have talked about the nose, while we are talking about the lateral surface of the nose, in that case we have talked about that if this is the body of the maxilla, bang over here we have got a plate groove. This is called if this is the body of maxilla. Now we are talking about the lateral wall of nose. Here we have got a plate, and this plate is known as the perpendicular plate of palatine bone. Perpendicular plate of palatine bone. We call perpendicular plate of palatine bone. And here we have got the medial pterygoid plate. Here we have the medial pterygoid plate. So this perpendicular plate of palatine bone is in close relation with the body of the maxilla. The perpendicular plate of palatine bone superimpose the posterior aspect of the body of the maxilla. So if we see from the lateral wall of we are seeing the lateral wall of the nose. So if we see from the exterior, if you look from here, then this structure is lying over there. So at this point our triangle is pterygopalatine fossa is over here. So this the medial wall is being formed by the perpendicular plate of the palatine bone. Upper part of perpendicular plate of palatine bone. Clear? Now, so we clear with the anterior, posterior, and the medial. Now left with the lateral. We will talk later. Now we come to the superior wall, superior or roof. Now this roof is formed by, this roof is formed by, here is the roof, this is the roof, this portion is the roof portion. If we go inside, then this portion is the roof. If we talk about from outside, then this forms the posterior wall. We are not talking about the outside, we are talking about the under surface. Roof is the top, from the top, which covers its top level. So superiorly we have got the under surface of body of the sphenoid bone. Under surface of body of sphenoid bone. Under surface of body of sphenoid bone. So this forms this under surface of the body of the sphenoid bone. Here we have got, in this diagram you can say that this is the pterygopalatine fossa, and see the greater wing of sphenoid bone, see the pterygoid plate, and this surface is under. If you go down inside, then you can see over there that the body of the maxilla. So the body of the maxilla Under surface of the body of the maxilla forms the superior or the roof of the pterygopalatine fossa. Now we left with the inferior. Inferiorly, you see the meeting point of the maxilla, and this is the pterygoid plate. This is called the pterygomaxillary fissure. This is pterygo, and this is closed by the pyramidal process of the palatine bone. Palatine bone itself is very small, but it has got lot of processes. So this is called the pyramidal process of the palatine bone. So this forms the inferior boundary. So inferior boundary is formed by the pyramidal process of palatine bone. In living bone, it is very difficult to find this bone because this is a very thin plate of bone. It's not like this much of thickness. It's a very thin plate of bone. But this bone, which comes to lie in between the two bones, is the pyramidal process of palatine bone, which actually forms the inferior most boundary. Here you can also see over there that is very difficult to find out. Very difficult to locate out this bone. Here we have got this one is the pyramidal process of the palatine bone. This is the pyramidal process of the palatine bone. So this bone, this forms the inferior boundary of the palatine bone. Now we only left with the lateral one. Lateral we can talk later also, but here we have while we are talking about the boundary, so we will discuss about this also. So laterally, this fossa is open to the exterior. See this laterally. Here you can see that laterally this fossa is open to the exterior, and this fossa is open to where? This fossa, if something comes from here and comes to here, where it will go? It will go into the infratemporal region. It will go into the infratemporal region. So this laterally, this communicates with this is open and communicate with infratemporal fossa. Communicate with infratemporal fossa. Clear? So now how it will be with is communications. Now it communicates with in head neck region we have got the three important fossa. One is the temporal fossa, other is the infratemporal fossa, and the most important the pterygopalatine fossa. Each fossa is meant for something, and the pterygopalatine fossa is meant for containing something. And if some important structure is lying over here, that means it will communicate with the different parts of the skull. Then only its importance comes over here. So it communicates anteriorly. This is anterior. This is anterior. This is the anterior. So this communicates anteriorly through the medial end of the infratemporal. This is the infratemporal fissure over here. We have got the body of the maxilla will come down. This will come down. This will come down over there, and this will create a fissure over there. This will create a fissure over there, and this is known as the infraorbital fissure. Infraorbital fissure, through which the infraorbital nerve and the vessel passes to the orbit, and ultimately it comes to the face. Ultimately it comes to the face. So this is the infraorbital fissure through which it communicates with the orbit. Now its posterior communication. Posteriorly it communicates with the most important structure is the maxillary nerve. This is the foramen rotundum. This is the foramen rotundum. And if any structure comes from foramen rotundum, this is in the middle canal fossa, if you drop there, this will come to lie in the pterygopalatine fossa. So this is the foramen rotundum through which the maxillary nerve comes to the pterygopalatine fossa. Next we have got in the body of the maxilla, you will find out there is a canal over there. This is called the pterygoid canal. This is called the pterygoid canal. pterygoid canal, and this canal is meant for carrying the sympathetic vessels which comes from, or the nerve, or the median nerve, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic division, which you can say the preganglionic fiber for the pterygopalatine ganglion, which we will talk later. The pterygopalatine this comes through this. This carries the median nerve or nerve to the pterygoid canal, which brings from the middle canal fossa right up to over here. And finally, the third one, that is this is known as the palatovaginal canal, which carries through which passes the pharyngeal nerve from the fossa through the outside in the pharyngeal region. So anteriorly it communicates with the infratemporal fossa and communicates with the orbit. Posteriorly it communicates with the foramen rotundum, through which passes the maxillary nerve from middle canal fossa to the foramen rotundum. Then we have got pterygoid canal, through which passes the nerve to the pterygoid canal or the median nerve from the middle canal fossa into the pterygopalatine fossa. And the third one is the palatovaginal canal, through which passes the pharyngeal nerve from the fossa into the pharyngeal region. Now we are left with the medial lesion. Medially, the medial, this is the medial one. So medially, here we have got a foramen over here, through which this is known as the sphenopalatine foramen. Since this is the sphenoid bone and this is the palatine bone. So this foramen is known as the sphenopalatine foramen, and this is the lateral wall of the nose. We have discussed about the sphenopalatine artery, which is artery of the epistaxis. So this through which this sphenopalatine artery, the pterygopalatine fossa communicates medially with the nose. So laterally it communicates with the infratemporal fossa, and medially it communicates with the lateral wall of the nose through the sphenopalatine foramen. And finally, inferiorly it communicates with through this passes. There is a canal over here, and from here this is known as the greater palatine groove. This groove is converted into canal by the palatine bone, and from here, from the fossa, the nerve and the artery, this passes through this one to go into the orbit, go into the oral cavity. Then greater palatine nerve and the greater palatine vessels, lesser palatine nerve and the lesser palatine vessels, they enter into the oral cavity. So inferiorly, the pterygopalatine fossa communicates with the orbit. Inferior pterygopalatine fossa communicates with the orbit. Now, finally, we left with the content of this fossa. Number one, it is meant for the third part of maxillary artery. Maxillary artery has got three parts. The first part, second part, and third part. Then all these three parts is being divided by the pterygoid muscles. And the third part, which is also known as the pterygoid part or pterygoid part of the maxillary artery, lies in this one. Then of course the maxillary nerve, which is over here, and the pterygopalatine ganglion. Maxillary nerve, which is two important branches, that is the zygomatic nerve and the posterior alveolar vessels, which intercede over here. So the posterior alveolar nerve and the zygomatic nerve, they are two important nerves along with the maxillary nerve, which is the most important. And finally, the pterygopalatine ganglion, for which this fossa is meant for, lie over here. So this is pterygopalatine ganglion, which provides the numerous branches mixed with the maxillary nerve and the autonomic nerves. So this is all about the pterygopalatine ganglion. Next we will talk about the pterygopalatine. This is all about the pterygopalatine fossa. Next we will talk about the pterygopalatine ganglion. Thank you.